Welcome back to episode 27 of Let's Write. So today's prompt is one I found on a website I've used previously for writing prompts, and I'll put that in the description box below. So the prompt is, it's your first day of college and in your first class, your professor does something unusual. She has you all sit on the floor in a big circle and introduce yourself as if you were in kindergarten. When it gets to be your turn, you say, my name is, every day I like to. So we're going to write for 15 minutes. You can continue from where the prompt left off, or you can kind of work the prompt into your story. Either way works. So yeah, we'll write for 15 minutes. You can go ahead and get yourself comfy and situated, and if you need more time to do that, as always, you can pause the video. Also, after we've done our writing and I've shared what I've written, a viewer submitted their character sketch. So I'll have something of one of you all's to read. So let's write. Welcome back. Well, that really hit me right in the feels. I kind of had a similar experience to what I wrote about when I was in college, so it was really nice to reminisce about it. So, without further ado, here's what I wrote. Dear Diary, so today was my first day of college. In my first class, the professor did something I wasn't expecting. She had us all sit on the floor in a circle and introduce ourselves in one thing that we like to do every day. Well, when she got to me, I said, "Hello, my name is Adana Ulf. Every day when I wake up, I like to get a cup of coffee and greet the sun as it spans the horizon." For some reason, everyone looked at me strangely. We continued around the circle and no one else got weird looks. Looks like everyone is going to avoid me as usual. I came back here to the dorm to change for work. I don't have any more classes until this afternoon, so when I made my way to the door and put my key in the lock, someone tapped me on the shoulder and I turned my head. "Hi, Adana, I have a question if you have a minute." I looked at the speaker, a petite girl with super curly red hair. I hope she was as much fun as her hair, which seemed full of life. "Sure, it's Lynn, right? I have about 30 minutes before I have to leave for work. What's up?" I opened the door to my room and held it open, motioning her to come in. "I like your room. So my question is, oh my goodness, is that The Sims 2? I looked over at her in surprise. "Yeah, it is. Why?" "Oh my goodness, I've been looking for it so I can play it and see if I like it before I spend the money and buy it." "Do you want to borrow it?" "Oh my goodness, can I?" "Sure, I don't mind. I won't have time to play it today." Her eyes lit up. I was super excited. Looks like I found someone who loves games too. She turned to go, but before she left, "Oops, I almost forgot to ask you my question." I'm so ADD. I chuckled. "It's no problem," I replied. "I do stuff like that all the time." "Oh, good. Well, my question was whether you wanted to join our creative writing group." "How did you know I like to write?" "Well, your answer that you gave in Professor Clark's class is already traveling across campus, and it seemed like something I would say." I smiled at her, my heart doing a little dance. Looks like I just made my first friend in college, Diary. I think it's going to be a good 4 years. 4 years later. Dear Diary, well, it's graduation day. These 4 years have flown by. I was looking back at my entry from my first day here and about meeting Lynn. I had never been more right than when I said I'd made a friend. I will treasure my friendship with her for the rest of my life. Well, time to start a new adventure and reach the next milestone. So that's what I wrote. Um, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that this prompt was enjoyable for you. Maybe it was kind of personal and you were able to reminisce. So let me share with you what one of our viewers, Alec, sent in for their character sketch. Okay, the character's name is Liliana. Alec, if you're watching this, I apologize if I completely slaughter the name of your character. Mana Patholi, the Immortal Onslaught. So it looks like their role in the story is the tribute Queen of Kardala, and they have a sigil, a dragonfly on a field of dark clouds. It looks like their occupation is a warrior princess and a mediator. Their physical description, middling height, raven black hair, a sharp nose, and cold and dead eyes. So they kind of seem to be a pretty serious person. Personality. She is a kind and inviting hostess, very slow to anger but true to her title, the Immortal Onslaught. She is very practical but inviting to a fault. Okay, her habits and mannerisms. Her mannerisms are very reminiscent of the Grecian Xenia. Greeks would often be extremely accommodating since it was believed gods still walked the world. This is still true in effect due to the power of magic. Okay, so looks like the story has magic. Fun. Liliana is an aeromancer of great power, but is not given to displays of power. Her abilities tend to the use of magic through listening to the flow of battle. She subconsciously uses her magic to deflect arrows, turn swords, and generate storms through prayer to the god of storms. This sounds like it's going to be a really epic story. Internal conflicts. She is a warrior by nature, and the act of becoming a tribute queen is one that bends her natural inclination to clean endings. She struggles with the slowness of political life and the nature of working with enemies in one's own society. Well, I can relate to that. External conflicts. She is opposed politically by members of the great houses that look to strengthen their own ties to the throne. Catherine's appearance as Darren's mistress is an incredible insult, but one necessitated by the realities of court politics. Okay, so it looks like Darren is most likely the king, and he has a mistress, and that is probably not going to go over well. Okay, it looks like they added some notes. Liliana will remain an extremely loyal wife throughout the events of AKCF. I assume that's an acronym maybe for the title of the book, but will act as a counterbalance to Darren in pushing him to rebel against his nature as a weak king. While Darren is a politically adept statesman, Liliana teaches him that the last resort of diplomacy is war. Oh, that has a nice ring to it. Well, Alec, thank you so much for submitting your character sketch. And I hope as you work on the story that you will, share it with us because this sounds like it's going to be a really interesting story. So thank you so much for joining me again today. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.